Okay. We are in section 6.2, where we are going to be writing and solving proportions. Remember, we talked about proportions. A proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equivalent. So, if we have two ratios, that means that we have two equal fractions. And we'll get into some of these proportions in a little bit. But first, we have to be able to determine whether two ratios are in fact equivalent. If they are equivalent, then we can say that they are proportional. So if you look here, I have 2/3 equals 8/12. And the ways that we can prove that these two ratios are equal is either by reducing both of them to lowest terms and then comparing them, converting them to decimals and then comparing them, or the last one, use cross products property to see if the cross products of the fractions are in fact equal to each other. So let's take a look at all three. So like say the first one here is we're going to reduce both ratios to lowest terms and compare. I look at 2/3, and that is in lowest terms, so I'm just going to leave it as 2/3. And I can divide both 8/12, the top and the bottom, by 4. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. I can compare them. They're both 2/3. I can say yes, that these are, in fact, proportional. If I converted them to decimals, if I go by using the long division here, I know that 2/3 is 0.6 repeating, and if you were to type this in on your calculator like this, 8 divided by 12 is also 0.6 repeating. The last one is using the cross products to see if the products of the fraction are in fact equal. So if I go 2/3 and see if it's equal to 8/12. What you're doing is you're taking these two values and multiplying them by one another. So 8 times 3 gives me 24. So you write down 24 right there. And then you do these two values. You take the product of those two. So 12 times 2 is, in fact, also 24. Since these two numbers match, I can say yes, they are a proportion, which is what we have right here. So in order to solve equivalent ratios that have a variable in them, the best way, I feel, is to use the cross products. Now, you can use any other one of those methods to help you solve them, but I think cross products is the most effective way to solving for the variable. So let's take a look at the first example. I have 2/7 equals x/21. So I'm going to take the cross products of this, so that's going to leave me with 7x, and it's going to equal 2 times 21, which is 42. And then from things that we learned in previous chapters, we're going to divide both sides by 7, which leaves me with x equals 6. Second example, I have 3/8 equals x/32. Same thing. Multiply that, so I get 8x equals 3 times 32, which gives me 96. Divide both sides by 8. X equals 12. And then the next one, again, I'm going to go here. That gives me 2 times 20, which gives me 40, equals 10x. If I divide both sides by 10, x here is going to equal 4. All right. Just looking at some more examples. You're going to do the exact same thing. So cross product. So 12 times 2 is 24. And it equals 8x, which comes from right here. To solve for x, I got to divide both sides by 8. So now x equals 3. Last example on this page, I got 84 times 16.5, which gives me 1386. And it equals 132x, which comes from here. Now I get to divide both the top and the bottom by, or just the bottom, I'm sorry, by 132. Cancels this. Divide 1386 by 132, which gives me x equals 10.5. Okay. Just doing some more examples here of the unknowns. So let's just keep going through. So let's use the cross product. So I get 21c equals 35 times 3, which gives me 105. Dividing both by 21. C happens to equal 5. And the way that you can determine whether this is correct or not, you can plug it back into the original equation to see if it holds true. And in fact, it would. So let's keep going. So I got 30 over W equals 24 over 12 using the cross products. I got 24W, and it happens to equal 30 times 12, which gives me 360. Dividing both sides by 24. 360 divided by 24 gives me W equals 15. Last two. So here I'm going to go 20 times 12, which is 240, equals 8t. I'm going to divide both sides by 8 for this, so I can get t by itself, and t happens to equal 30. And then the last one, I have 16 times 21, which gives me 336. And then it's going to equal 12 times s, so I get 12s. Dividing both sides by 12 here, I get s equaling 28. Okay? And that is being able to write and solve proportions. Hope this helps. Until next time.